Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. Welcome to the Core 4 Show. I'm Coach Brandon Adams, and I'm here to bring to you guys another wonderful week of Core 4 and what we do. Hopefully, you guys had a great Easter last week. I certainly did, and I'm excited that we're back in the saddle and we're talking about what I love, and that's how to increase our individual financial, our family wealth. And so today we have a great show for you guys because it's about trying to get to a point where we're making $1,000 a day. And if you're not making $1,000 a day already, then this is the show for you. If you are making $1,000, let's talk about how we can make 1,000 more. And the way that we're doing it is we're keeping custody of our money. I had a wonderful conversation with the gentleman earlier today, and we were talking about a particular project that he was super excited about back in October. And I listened and I went through our core 4 metrics and I said, okay, what is it that, where is it located and how long has it been going on and what is it? And so we went through the whole thing and I said, it doesn't really fit with what core 4 does. But they said, okay, they're coming out in December. December hit, then they said January. And now it's April and they're still having trouble. They're having problems. They're having confusion and they have lots of people participating at put in money and it drained all of their accounts. And so this was a bot. And so 2024 has been plagued with all of these bots that are coming out and, oh, you can keep your money, but the bot is going to do the work for you. And so that really doesn't work. It just doesn't work. As market conditions change and news changes, if the bot is not able to adapt, then what happens? And so what we've also seen is that, I'm not saying that whatever this person was or the organization was trying to scam, but it's not surprising that it didn't work. So what we believe here in the core 4 is 4 things. Number 1, our mindset has to be right. Number 2, we have to be ready to take a leap of faith and start working towards getting rid of our 9 to 5. Number 3, we have to work on our retirement. And number 4, we have to work on investments. And so we have a team of people that are subject matter experts that are being the best version of themselves and are surrounding themselves with others that's inspiring them. And that is what core 4 means. And so our basis is how do we keep the money in our wallets, keep custody, keep control, and at the same time create a modicum of wealth for ourselves that we wouldn't see in traditional ways. Now, we're not saying that traditional ways don't work. We're just saying that if we can get to it faster, if we could get the education that we desperately want. And what is education? Education is, okay, I take a course, I take a class, I learn a little bit about it. One of my buddies told me that Warren Buffett said that you really, before you invest anything, you have to understand the core business of what it is. And so there again, that's education. But if we're not going after education and we just want to transplant our money to someone else and hope that they get it right, then what are our results going to look like without us understanding? And then how are we going to pay our taxes? How are we going to start planning for our future? It's very, very difficult to do that. We're participating in the American economy already, but we're doing it by going to work every day and exchanging our time for money. And so now what we're saying here at Core 4 is instead of changing your time for money, why don't you let your money be your employee and work for you? And so if you just take the time out to learn it, then you don't have to be scammed because you're going to have an authentic, educated opinion about how to move forward with you and your family's income. And so we've been very successful here at Core 4 since we moved to this type of movement, and we want to share it. But guess what? It's not really about us, oh, okay, well, we need to go bring somebody in because we're going to get paid for it and, we're going to get the hookup and all the rest. No, that's not what we're trying to do. So if you're successful by yourself and you happen to share it because you care, then let someone else benefit because you actually were able to demonstrate that you could do something that was incredible. And so in my world, I'm shifting in that direction. My team is shifting in that direction. And we also have community members that are shifting in that direction. And it's fascinating. And so today we'll have a guest that comes on that talks to us a little bit about that as a testimonial. But that's the whole plan. And so on June 28th to June 30th, when we have our event, we want to invite anybody that wants to come. But just know that the people that are coming are people that are winning. and they're winning because the money is in their wallets and they're having a great time with it because they have taken the course, they're educated, and they're also having fun. So that's what our goal is, to change our community direction by changing the quality of our education. So thank you for joining us. And so today we're going to start with our first core forecast. And we have Chris Pulver. He's on the mic. Chris, are you ready to go today?
I'm ready to rock and roll, Brandon.
Man,
you ready?
At Easter. I mean, I'm getting better.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to jump off. We're going to add you to the stage here, add your chart, and then I'll see you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome to Core 4. I just want to talk about the markets, what happened last week. So this is the weekly performance. You can see that it wasn't exactly that awesome, but it was all brought to you by the Bears on Thursday. It was really interesting. The market was very motionless Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday was a crazy 2.5 times standard deviation move with a big sell-off. I'll show that in the charts in a moment. You can see the energy was popping up here nicely as kind of a risk-off flow. Oil's been continuing to head higher. Commodities, gold, silver really popping nicely. And yeah, I mean, we had a lot of red across the board. Tesla still pulling back, questioning whether or not it's going to continue to hold or if it's in a true bear market. Some semiconductors pulled back, which have been dragging the market higher with AI hype and all the computer powering and processors. But anyway, it was fine. I mean, Streamwise Capital did great. Closed out 8 trades for 8 wins. SPX, SPY, DIA, QQQ, GLD. It was a great week. In fact, I closed up profits for the week of April 5th, as well as this week going out to the 12th because of how big of a move we had on Thursday. So just to give you an example, this is the move last week. This is the daily chart, and you can just see this massive red candle. That's not a misprint. That's exactly what the day did. I watched this unfold the entire day, and I'm a little bummed that I didn't take a stab at least a 0 DTE trade, but it is what it is. I mean, once I had some chart alarms going off here, all my positions that I had taken were in profit. So most of that day, as it's heading down to these fresh lows, I was managing profits going into my April 5th and April 12th expirations. And then Friday took another couple of trades, bought it low, sold it high, and made some profit there. So like I said, 8 trades for the week between the SPYs, the S&P, so some of the ETF trades, the SPX for some cash settled profits, as well as GLD, and then SLV making a nice run to some highs. This is I've got one of my better running positions in the portfolio is right here. We've been long since $20, and we're sitting up here $5 and change. And my first measure move on SLV is all the way up towards 32.80. So GLD hit my profit target. And then some. We've got some overbought conditions right now, so I'm looking to see if there's any dips to buy back in. My full measure move on gold is 231. Bitcoin's pulled back a little bit, or at least been sideways. I'm kind of seeing a bit of a range here for them. So if we have some type of wedge off of this bullish play, I'd be a little cautious to just jump right into it outside of dollar cost averaging. But if you like this enough, I mean, I'm not opposed to buying some more Bitcoin to just kind of level in, but I'm waiting for maybe this level. If I put it in blue, I really like this zone here between like 60 and 50K. If we can get a pullback into there, I'm certainly looking to add to my Bitcoin exposure. So some ETFs, some cold wallet Bitcoins, totally fine too. The IBIT, BITO, FBTC, some instruments like that with the SEC approves ETFs are totally fine. I know in April, I should be coming up. We've got the Bitcoin halving that will take place. So I'm obviously curious to see what that does with the price. Maybe it's been priced in. Maybe there's another rip. Talking all-time highs. Maybe everyone's kind of eager to see if it gets up to 100,000 this year. So anyway, I mean, this week we got some big news. I know James will touch on it. We've got inflation data that will be very important for the market to digest. I'll go back to the SPY really quickly and just kind of give you my outlook for the week. The reason I put these horizontal lines on there is because Thursday's one-off sell, that big day was just enough to create the short-term floor and short-term high. And we are going to see what the bulls are made of to defend this, because I could see the market after that type of move just kind of catching its footing, trying to stabilize. And with this week's news, if there's not really enough to get the market too excited, I would say if the bears can break below 513, it does open up for another quick decline towards 500. So I wouldn't be surprised after a big, ridiculous rally like we had back in late October, November, December, January, and February, that this big low to high swing can pull back to some realistic levels. I wouldn't look for anything, insane, probably like a 23 to 30% level, which would put us maybe just below 500 before I think the bulls can step back in and defend. But like I said, we might have a lot of inside candle trading on the day. The week could be very noisy. So I'm looking to position accordingly this week where if we break lower, I'm going lower. If we break higher, I'm cautiously bullish, but I'm kind of more, I'm kind of leaning in my trades now that if I'm going to get some bearish moves, I'm going to make more money on the bearish side because I think there's a bit more reward to risk on the side for right now for at least a correction. But that being said, I'm going to position trades, probably 1 to 2 days out and see if I can grab some profits this week on the SPX. And if we have kind of an expected move, just see if we stay in the range, and then the range breaks, get a little bit more directional, and just continue to trade up, down, sideways. Let's carve out some profits. So that's it for me, Brandon. Thanks.
I love it. So our goals are to basically have our community understand what's possible, why it's possible, show the consistency every week, and then actually have some fun. So thank you, Chris, and let's do it. Let's keep it moving. All right. So next we have James Bishop. James is an amazing economist, and amazing with insurance. And so he's going to bring the next part of our core forecast in. Bring some energy, James. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Lost my voice during that game. It was a great game. Great game.
We got another one tomorrow, right?
That's it. And then, so I'm here, guys, to talk a little bit about the economy, news that'll really and truly affect our market, really all markets. And I'm going to kick it off with probably what I believe is going to be the biggest announcement this week, which is, mark your calendars, write it down. It is probably the most important announcement that we get all year long. And that is that Monday marks the beginning of the Masters. All right. It is the Masters week. So my biggest holiday, if I could show you my office one of these days, I'll have everything behind me, but I have everything golf themed and Masters themed in my office. But on a real note, we do have some very important announcements coming out. Wednesday, 10 a.m., 8:30 a.m., I stand corrected, is CPI, which is Consumer Price Index. Now, that is a measure of inflation. It is taken into consideration during the Fed meetings when they decide to raise or lower interest rates. The Fed has already said that they're looking for, 2, maybe 3 rate cuts this year. I suspect those will happen after Q2, when we probably will see, more than likely, many businesses report less than stellar earnings because they're just not selling as many units, even at the higher prices. It won't be enough to overcome what they've experienced this past quarter. That's just what I suspect right now. But CPI, it's like I said, a measure of inflation. It's the cost of goods and services. Is it rising? Is it falling? Now, there is one thing I think is very interesting, that how it's read is that if CPI is shown as a negative number, then that means that prices are beginning to fall. If CPI is shown as a number less than the previous, so let's say it was 1% and now they say it's 0.5%, that still means prices are increasing, just not at the same rate. Okay, just understand that. Additionally, we have monetary policy statement out of Bank of Canada, which Canada is in a whole host of mess. If you are trading Forex, the CAD, I'm looking at weakening in the CAD with 6.1% unemployment rate. We have the Canadian housing crisis coming up because 33% of all the mortgages in Canada reset this year. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, is basically, in the US, when we get a loan at a fixed rate, it's fixed for the duration of the loan. In Canada, when you get a mortgage that's at a fixed rate, it resets every 5 years. That 5 years is, think about it, 2019 to today, interest rates went from 0.25% to 5.5%. So overnight, people's mortgages are about to start increasing. The majority of those happen in the back half of this year, when the COVID shutdown happened and interest rates hit all-time lows in Canada. So that's something that I'm really interested in seeing the impact of. You also have monetary policy out of the EU, so the European Union. And then we wrap up the week with consumer sentiment and inflation expectations for the US as well. So that's it for me. We have an amazing week of opportunity, and we always have to take advantage of the opportunities that we're given.
Thank you, buddy. All right, guys. This is a great part of the show. The show is segmented for reasons, and a lot of it is to help you guys to understand that you get to know Chris, you get to know James, you get to know me, you get to know Eric, you're going to get to know India. I mean, it's more than we can handle, right? Because it's a lot of information and it comes to you guys all at once and you're trying to sift through it. How do I make money with Core 4? So let's talk about it for a quick second. So the first thing I want you guys to understand is that we're not financial advisors. What we are, we're sharing our journey, how it works for us. And then if you would like to take a peek into the window, then we give you an opportunity to get the education that we have for ourselves. We have some incredible coaches that are working. We do have Ghost Protocol, which is our Forex signal service that you guys can actually get, and you're getting it at a value that's incredible. And we're up probably close to 2,000 pips for the year, and it's running. And so our goals are simple, is to provide you with a strategy for your success that fits into your personal feeling of what you like to do. So if the Forex is what you like, we have something for you. If you like yield farming or you want to take a try at it, we have that for you. And then finally, we have binary options. And so we look for the best opportunities for you based on what's working for us. And then we give you the opportunity to make a decision. Making $1,000 a day is not easy. It's just not. But it takes some strategy. And you have to believe that it's possible. And so by us coming on every week to share with you how we're doing it or how we're getting there, we'll give you an opportunity to then say, all right, well, this might be tested by some people that I can trust. And so I'm willing to give it a try. We believe that we're not trying to hit you over the head with courses. There are courses that cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just to get the course, and that doesn't guarantee everything. So the way we set it up is we want all of our courses to be as close to under 1,000 if possible, or at least a discount. And then from that discount, you guys can take the course and then learn from your coach. And so in this case, we have incredible coaches. And so the first coach I'd like to introduce you to is India Bradford. India also is a part of the Core 4 team and family, and she's also a little sister. What's up?
What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
Listen, I just want you to bring some energy.
All right.
South Carolina brought some energy today.
Yeah.
And I thought that the way Caitlin Clark came out was absolutely incredible in the first quarter, and it was legendary status. So
absolutely.
Keep it going, because you're the Caitlin Clark of binary options for us.
Well, thank you, Brandon. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can you see the? Yep, there we go. Awesome. So this week I'm excited. We had a really good week. The winning percentage was about 88%. Profit was about 24.96%. So pretty much won 8 out of the 9 trades. So like I always say, I try to be as transparent as possible. So if you want to follow those live trades to see for yourself what those results look like, you can always come into the Telegram channel and just, scan the QR code to witness that. For all of the members of Core 4, of course, the original price of the course is $750, but all Core 4 members get the course for $500 because Brandon is just awesome in regards to that. So I'm excited about this week coming up, and I look forward to continue to build week by week. So let's make it happen, Brandon.
Absolutely. So your consistency has been really, really impressive. And, I'm trading with you. And so, I'm getting the exact same results that you're getting. But what's interesting is in your Telegram that you send out on a morning basis, you only trade Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. And
so this past week, you got 24.96. So if I'm not mistaken, it was about 9% on Monday, and then 5, 5, and 5, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
with the 24.96.
Mhm.
The other thing that I want to, really mention is that you actually give the trades that you're executing
Yeah.
free.
Mhm. Yes.
So when India actually hits the sell or hits the buy on her computer, she's telling you what she's doing. So everyone has the opportunity to fact check immediately to see if the results are there. And she actually shows what she was looking at as a screen capture so you can actually see what she saw, because you have the opportunity to learn from her course and then actually do what? Trade on your own.
Yep.
She only trades one time a day.
Mhm.
So the fact that she's trading one time a day, you can trade as many times as you want. And we're not saying that you're going to get 24.96 additional percent. What we're just going to say to you is that you the same methods that she's using for herself, that's what you're using too.
Absolutely.
Right. So just understand that for everybody. So everybody should be super excited. And so I may circle back at the
Okay.
end and bring you back on
Okay.
to talk about the $1,000 a day,
Yeah.
because part of this $1,000 a day that you can earn is really looking at our core 4 courses, right? And
Mhm.
so this is one of our courses, and there's a strategy that you and I have in place
Yes.
that the whole community can take advantage of,
Yep.
right? So I may bring you back on, or we may do something separate, but
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Brandon.
thank you.
All right.
All right, so next I want to talk about something that's been absolutely fascinating. Another keep the money in your possession. Well, in binary options, it's with a broker, but now this here's with our wallets. And so we use a wallet called Soulflare now, and I'm sure there's 5,000 other wallets that we can use to make this work. But yield farming has been fascinating, because there are people all over the world that's making a ridiculous amount of money. One of my good friends last month made 120% using this gentleman's educational tools. And we're going to bring on a guest who last week was a tough week because of the Scalana Congestion, but the week before he did 30%. Like, this is outstanding. And the simplicity of it, once you actually understand what you're doing, it's kind of like driving a car. Maybe, like, let me get my bearings straight. Let me kind of understand what my safety measurements need to be, where my mirrors are, and all the rest of that stuff. But once I do understand that, I can pretty much have some predictability in where I'm going and feel pretty safe doing it. So let me bring Eric on. Eric, did you like that analogy?
Yeah,
Did I do
I
good?
did.
No, I
Yep.
try to make you proud, brother. I try to make you proud. So let's bring some energy. Eric, you've been fantastic to our community. You've been fantastic to me. One of the things I do want to do is get a chance to sit down with you and really map out some long-term strategies for our community, because we're winning. And the fact is that your course has been fantastic. And I love the fact that you're updating your course. Can you talk a little bit about, just for 2 minutes, what are some of the things that the community that does have the course, what can they look forward to in the next month or so?
Well, it's funny because when you say bring the energy, Sunday is my day to recover, and
Ah,
so I'm always pretty tired out by the end of the day. I had a
I
great day with
love
the
it.
family and all that, but that is to say that I was still trading today, right? So I'm still trading, and by virtue of the fact that the money is still being made in the liquidity pools while I'm out doing things that I have to do, which is take some time out today, for example. And with respect to this week, if I could share my screen here real quick, I just want to show a couple things. And
Okay, so throw
share
something on.
screen, uh, window, entire screen. Okay. You see anything? Oops. Can you see my screen there?
We can see it.
Okay. So and when people first come into the course right now, they are usually jumping into one of the easiest exchanges and most elegant exchanges that are out there, which is Orca on the Solana network. But last week, trading on that network kind of became cumbersome because Solana congestion is up. So Solana is a relatively new blockchain. It's become really popular over the last 18 months, and so the price of Solana is going up, and more people are coming onto the network doing all kinds of things. And as a result of that, they've had, I think, about 4 major events where the whole network has become so congested that it was becoming difficult, just like losing my mind, saying, "Well, this is taking me, 4 hours to reposition, four positions that I had with any other things I want to do during the day." But what I wanted to point it out to you is, so I had a solution to that, and I'm going to share that with you right now. But anyway, what they're saying here in this article, and you can read these articles all over the place, is that this week they're going to put some patches out that will help deal with the Solana congestion problem. So my response to those problems that were coming up, and it's just really what it manifested itself in, is just a lengthy period of time it takes you to go in and out of positions on the Solana exchange. So what I did was I kind of threw my arms up in the air last Thursday, and I just left these 2 positions in, and I moved my money over to another exchange, which I'll show you in a second. But I just want to point out that even with the congestion on the network and the fact that I left this 15,000 in here, I still made $267 since last Thursday evening without doing anything. Okay, and that equates to just about by tomorrow morning about 2%. So my goal is to make at least 0.5% per day, and even with all the congestion problems, the price of Solana even going down 10% because of those congestion problems, I'm still making this money. Okay, without having to really do anything. Now I'm going to wait to harvest it because, as I said, the network congestion slows that whole process down. But in response to the congestion and just the sheer frustration that I was having, I went ahead and started looking at what was going on over on the UnisSwap exchange. And I also have been overdue for a while here in testing out some new stuff that came out, which I'm going to put a video out this week to show you guys this. But there's a thing called Aperture Finance, and right now it's a free tool. And this free tool actually does an amazing thing. It allows you to program it so that you can keep your positions in range at all times. It'll actually reposition and rebalance your exchange. Now, this is a really, really exciting thing. Now, since I started doing this last Thursday, it rebalanced my pool that I'm in here, this BTC Ethereum pair. It did it 39 times, the number of rebalances. And that's because it was automatically rebalancing for me. I could keep the range super tight to squeeze out as much profit as I possibly could from this thing.
And what was your monthly return? What were you getting on the monthly?
Well, I haven't been able to calculate it because honestly, let me show you something before I even show you this. I was trading another client's money last week for a few days, just as I had some money sitting there, and just going on to the Polygon chain on Uniswap, trading BTC and Ethereum manually. Okay, which means that I set some fairly tight ranges, but I would have to manually check, when the thing went out of range, and just, probably 2 or 3 times a day I'd come in, and I was still meeting my targets. I just want to show you that of at least 1% a day on average here, and some days much higher, just in terms of yield alone. I'm not, and notice that the yield, Bitcoin took a dive on last week around on the 2nd, lost about 10%, but
You still made
I,
0.5% a day.
I'm still making the money. Okay, so I don't really pay attention to the fluctuation very much here because I still made $156 on that day without even trying. So, and even though the market dropped 10% overall, I only lost I mean, for me, if I look at the sheer balance and compared to what I made, I only lost 7%, and that was just in the space of less than 6 days. This all
And that's
happened.
on the asset.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and this is also using Aperture.
No, that was not using Aperture. I was just doing this manually. So I just wanted to point that out, because the issue with Aperture is, although it's a real miracle, there's one thing it does that I don't like, and that's that I personally like to see my yield build up, and I take out my yield when I want to, and then I convert that to another. I convert that to like USDT or a stable coin or something like that, because that's a strategy that I do. I want to. You can't just. People say, well, let's compound, let's compound, let's compound. I only compound maybe once a month, because unless you're realizing gains, these prices can fluctuate. Okay, so
Yeah.
unless I'm realizing a gain, I want to know what I gained in US dollars, because that's how I live, on US dollars. I don't live on Ethereum and Jupe and Pyth. Okay, so I got to see that gain in order to know where I'm at. And then for some funds I trade, we actually have to dispense that yield. So I say that to say that even though this is fantastic, and I'm able to get some incredible yields out of this thing by tightening down the range and having it reset it. One problem that I have with this system is that, I mean, look how fast these fees just accumulated here just while we were talking. Um, well, okay, that's actually showing an old thing. This thing just reset a few minutes ago, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes ago. It made a new position in here, and it already made 16 cents. So what I'm seeing it doing is on $5,000, it's making about $5 an hour, maybe a little bit more.
Mhm.
And I can't really tell exactly how much, because unfortunately, every time it resets, it reinvests everything. So these are all the positions that it took, and every time it created a new position for me, which I love. It just took the unclaimed fees and shoved it back in there. So manually, as I'm sitting by my computer working on other things during the day, I go in and check it, and I've been able to pull out about $78 out of there just over the last 2 days. So
Okay.
just when I've happened to be sitting here noticing the unclaimed fees, and I just click collect the fees.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, and this is something that, because of my engineering background, I got some engineers designing a tool for me that I'm going to make exclusive to our course. That, in fact, I'm actually going to make my own version of Aperture here, because it is an open source thing. So I'm going to install that on a server. But more importantly, I'm going to make it so that you have the option for the thing to automatically withdraw these fees right before it rebalances, and then convert it automatically to a token of your choice. And my
Mm.
favorite token for this is USDT. So then once you do that, look, I mean, you're on autopilot. You literally have to do nothing. It's rebalancing for you automatically. And then I am going to create the tool that is collecting your fees right before it rebalances, so that you can keep
I love
track
it.
of what you're actually making.
I
Now,
love
if you want to just reinvest automatically, you can do that. But there's a lot of reasons why I just don't do that. I mean, you've got to have a third stablecoin position. And I mean, if just I'll just say this one other thing, is that if you could think of all the times when you've lost money in deals, right, where you wish, if you just say to yourself, boy, if I wouldn't have just compounded, if I would have just taken some money out, then at least I'd have something, right? So if you think about it, it makes sense to do that when you're trading cryptos that are not tethered to US dollar. It only makes sense psychologically for you to take some of that money out that you're actually making.
it. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're never really realizing a gain, because the pairs fluctuate in value all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not only is it just not fun, it's just no fun. I mean, I can't make money and spend it. This is, what the heck am I doing?
Exactly.
So I'm going to update the video that shows you how to use Aperture. Probably, I've already recorded it. I just got to put it out into the courses sometime this week. And on top of that, I'm having some guys design that tool, and I think that's going to take about 14 days to get that working, where it'll automatically collect the fees once it gets up to a specific uh, ratio here, which would be low on one side and high on the other side, and it'll just collect the fees, and then it'll automatically dump it into USDT for you, those collected fees, and it'll right before it rebalances.
Well, I love
So
it.
if you have that going, I mean, like I said, you can just be on vacation. It's just all on autopilot. Then you just decide which pairs you want to trade, and that's easy. You just go in and look up on UnisSwap, which got the highest volume and all that.
All right.
So that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. So the congestion problem is going to go away supposedly this week, and that will help us with our favorite Orca exchange. But notwithstanding that, I'm not going to let that stop us from having a totally fun automated way to just bring in that 20 to 30% a month. That's what I need to have
That's
happen.
what I need too.
So I'm going to deliver that to y'all.
All right. Thank you, buddy. I love it. I'm laughing, you guys, because you don't know exactly what you have. You have some incredible coaches that are here. You have some incredible leaders that are here that are consistently giving you the education and bringing you what you need. And it's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of forethought, a little bit of planning. And I'm not saying it's sci-fi, set it and forget it. I'm saying that, yes, you're going to have to pay attention and mind your business, but for those that do it, you don't need to go out and join an MLM or an affiliate based thing because, well, I'm trying to get in this because the narrative is good, but then I'm going to go sign up a bunch of people and that's where I'm going to make my money. Forget that. Forget it. Just make your money here. Just make your money here. We've got more than enough. You've got Chris, you've got James, you've got India, you've got Eric. Make your money here. Okay. And then you don't have to worry about all the other noise. For those people that aren't communicating with Core 4, that don't contact me because they already know that if they're bringing me something where you have to give up custody of your money, I'm just going to laugh at you. That's not going to fly, and the community is not going to learn from it from me. It's just not going to happen. And so that's the teamwork. But what I want to do is I want to bring on the stage just for a few minutes a gentleman that has been a student of Core 4, and he's a fantastic young man. He's like a little nephew. What's up, Avon? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you, kid. So Avon and I know each other because what? Why do we know each other?
We actually try to take each other's heads off.
There you go. Because we are pugilists. We are boxers. And although I do basketball and I love it dearly and it is a part of my heart and I'm a much better basketball player than I ever have been a boxer, I'm doing it. And Avon and I have been sparring against each other, and he decided to take a hit and jab at the yield farming. And so
I did.
how has that been?
So it's definitely been like a learning experience, just like everything else. It's not as difficult as like physics or calculus, for anybody that's wondering. But I would say definitely you have to do your due diligence, but it definitely makes it worthwhile in the end, I would say. Especially like even me, like I'm a beginner, but the knowledge and experience that I've gained so far has been a world of difference.
So let's talk about that. I mean, people want to know, like, you don't have to tell people what you had in your wallet, but just, I know last week we had a lot of congestion, and so things are working itself out on the Scalana network. But the week before, what did you do?
The week before,
roughly,
I did probably upwards of about 30% in just a week.
30%. So that means that you could take the money out. Is it in your wallet, or do you have to call somebody, or do you have to request a withdrawal from some company or whatever else, or can you just manually do it and get it?
Manual, analog. It's in my head, on my phone, wherever. No one else has it.
No one else has it. And so doing this, is this something that you would recommend to your other friends and the people that you're around? Because you're a young man, you're in your early 20s. And so you're at the beginning of this workforce thing, this 9 to 5, as you try to figure out what you want to do. And so I'm not telling you not to get a 9 to 5 as your uncle, but I am telling you that, or I am asking you, if this continues in this way, would you see the workforce the same way? Will this solve your 9 to 5 dilemma?
I think it definitely solves a lot of problems. As far as like Eric mentioned it earlier, as far as setting and forgetting, so to speak, managing your portfolio, micromanaging, if even. It definitely offers a lot of like versatility in that regard. Me being young and hungry and ambitious, like I'll probably still do as much as I can put on my plate anyway.
You got energy.
But,
About that energy.
yeah, but in terms of like this, like replacing a 9 to 5 or like any other sort of like income stream, this could definitely do anything that you need it to if you do it right, in terms of financial freedom, stability, getting back time for yourself, the whole nine.
Good. I don't want to take up too much of your time. You young people got things to do. I'm glad it's a Sunday. I can predict that there's not a club out there that's open. So we're getting up, and I'm going to see you back in the ring soon. I just want to bring you on. I want people to really understand that it's not just about what I get or what Sonia gets or what Carrie gets or what India gets or what Eric gets or what Chris gets or what James gets. I mean, the people that we see, there's other people out here in the community that are killing the game, and they're doing it because they took that leap of faith and said, you know what, I can do this myself. And so thank you for proving that, and hopefully we'll have you on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, buddy. See you soon. All right, you guys. The last thing that I really want to talk about is what our plan is. And I can't say too much about it, but I'm going to bring India back on. India, how you doing, baby?
I'm good.
All right. So let's get busy here. Okay. So I'm telling people, and we're going to use binary options as an example. Okay. Now, there's things that we're not going to mention that you get when you are a Core 4 student.
Yes.
And the reason why we're not mentioning that is because we don't want that to be an enticement, right?
Yep.
We want you to get the education and then get out there and feel that you're competent on trading yourself. So let's just say that somebody can match. And what we're doing is we have $3,500 in our account that we have grown together.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're taking that 35 in your account and my account, and we're working that to get to about 20,000.
Yes.
How many days, based on if what you're seeing for yourself and what others could see, even if they just do a baseline of 15%, how many days would it take us to get to that 20,000? What did we say?
So after looking at the timeline, we're looking like the first or second week of June. So a little bit over a month. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So maybe up to 60 days, whatever it might be. It's still early April now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking the first, second week of June, maybe we'll get close to 20,000.
Yeah.
So at 20,000, if you're doing 15% a week, that's about 3,500. You could get close to that's what, that's half of 7 days a week. That's half of that goal. That's $500 a day.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so if you decided to let that run and worked diligently, and I'm saying diligently just to keep it real, that this is not, something that's guaranteed.
Right.
But to give and take, if we were to continue the run where, for example, you got 24.98% this week, last week you got 34%, the week before that you got 17.
Mm-hmm.
So if people just followed what you were doing, there would be a strong chance that you might be averaging 15 to 20%. So we would give another 30 days. In 90 days, we'd probably be close to $50,000.
Yep.
Is that about right?
That's correct.
So if our goal would be to take $1,000 out at 15% of 50,000 is how much? So
if you took out, you said 15% of 50,000, and that's every day. Every week. I'm sorry.
Every week, 15%.
Yeah. So basically, we're looking at about 5,500 a week, around about. because 10% of 50,000 is 5,000. You add on another 5% to that.
So we're looking at about 7,500.
Yeah, about 7,500.
Okay, looking at 7,500 on 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And how much did we start with? We started with maybe a few $100s, and then we grew it to 3,500 where we are now, and now we're pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
You can leverage a little bit of money once you become a student, and potentially have the opportunity within 90 to 120 days to be at $50,000 in your account, and you would be at $7,500 a week conservatively.
Yeah.
And you would be able to take $1,000 out a day.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to withdraw about $1,000 a day. Yeah.
Not a bad deal. And so what I'd like to do is, whatever today is on Sunday the 7th, let's just as a test, as an honest test, we have our class, our convention is June 30th.
Okay.
So by then we'll see. So that weekend, I probably won't have us do a Core 4 show because we'll be recovering from the weekend. But that following week would push us into July.
Yeah.
We'll be able to let people know from today where we are.
Yep, for sure. So, and again, all of the results are tracked every day. So that's imperative. And like you said, you'll be able to see the track record between now and the convention. So for sure.
Transparency is the key. So I just want to work through that with you and, let people know being an active investor is important. Sure, you got passive, and just like what Eric said it very clearly. It's like, look, you'll be able to set it and forget it. That's sci-fi. I get it. Great. And so we want that. And so we have methods for that as well. The whole point is that you're in control.
Yep. That's the main thing. Yep. And the process is simple. That's what I want people to really understand, that it's very simple. If you're open-minded to it, you can do it. So
discipline is also a part of that simplicity.
Yes, sure.
So you have lost.
Yes.
So the maximum that we've agreed that we would lose was 10%.
Yep.
And that happens. If it happens, then you stop trading for that day.
Yeah.
So there is loss that will be incurred in this because it's inevitable. But if there's more gains than losses, then there's an opportunity to recover when there's discipline.
And that's how you can go long term. Trade management is imperative. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I just wanted to give everybody in the community an opportunity to hear this. So we have a Core 4 challenge there are several of our community members that have joined this challenge. If you're interested in joining the challenge too, you can. You don't have to over leverage. This is not some weird space where, you're getting some ridiculous amount of money that somebody's going to give you at the end. This is a scenario like there's a banking thing called private placement, and it's ridiculous because, it's never worked. And this one may work, and I'll stand corrected. But people are putting in unbelievable amounts of money for this concept of private placement and this narrative, and then they're never getting the money out.
So my question to you, Brandon, is what do you like the most about the process of the course and the binary options? What stands out the most to you?
So the reality is that I look at binary options as gambling a little bit, because it's kind of like when I go to Vegas, I pick black or red, right? If I'm right, when the thing goes around and the dice roll, that's where it is. So that's the way that I look at it. I'm not saying, I look at the yield farming as a little bit differently. I look at it more like investing. It's got a different strategy to it. There's, impermanent loss. It doesn't mean that you lose everything if you're not exactly right about something. Things can turn around for you before it's over. With time-based binary options, you either win or you don't win, right? So what do I like about it? I like the fact that your strategy that you've been able to come up with is not only sophisticated, but something that's understandable, and it's something that's duplicatable. So what I like about it is the fact that you're approaching this with a realistic psychology of how you could make some money and you could be consistent. And you have turned the odds of this gambling, from my perspective, to your favor because you follow this strategic model that makes sense in all financial markets. And so that's what I really like about it. So it's something that can be trusted because you're taking some of that gambling, you're taking the edge to the house and bringing that edge to you. And so that's what I like about it. And that's what I love about it. And so I think that the way that you presented the course is something that, at some point my kids have asked if they could take the course.
I love it.
So, they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And so that to me says, do I want them to do it? Not, I do, but I kind of don't, because at the end of the day, I want them to be excited about going to college and getting an education and the rest of that stuff. But if, we get to a point where they're educated enough that they can consistently make $1,000 a day and still have a good job as a doctor or a lawyer, and what they do on the side and stuff like that, then I would support that. The goal is for us to have financial independence and to teach that. I just heard a study a couple of days ago that said, and don't quote me on this, but that said that Vanderbilt is the first school that's going to be $100,000 a year to send your child to. So, I can't work enough to be able to do that on a 9-to-5, right? So, things are changing in the way that we approach making money, and we have to be adaptable.
Yeah.
So when you ask me, I'm giving you a thorough answer that what I like about it is I see my kids' future. I see that their future is bright. So,
awesome. I love that. Thank you so much.
I'll see you soon. All right, guys. So just wanted to let you guys know once again, June 28th to June 30th, we have our Core 4 event. You just heard about the Core 4 Challenge. We'll talk about it weekly. We might actually post our results. But the goal is simple. The goal is to give all of you guys an opportunity to be successful, become a testimonial, work with Chris, work with James, work with Eric, work with India, work with myself as your teammates. We're not leaders. We just started before you. So I just want to share with you guys, we don't have to be on here for the full hour. Our goal is to get from where we are to where we want to be in this world. So I tell everybody, become a subject matter expert, be the best version of yourself, and surround yourself with people who inspire you. Everybody on this call inspires me, and I'm very blessed to have them. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you I love you, whether you like it or not. Good night, and I will see you guys next week.